I was watching this, and I don't like to be hyperbolic when watching something and saying that it was the best thing ever. Because, like, the next week, there's a next week, and this should have been the go home Raw for Mania. Like, I am at my peak after last night, and especially with us going, like, this is the feeling that I think every WWE fan should have
Mhm.
going into WrestleMania. And I don't know how you top last night.
Yeah, I think that it might have been it almost feels like it might have been a mistake for them to do all of that they did, unless they're planning on doing something bigger on the go home show, because now it feels like they have unrealistic expectations to live up to for the go home Raw, because people are so happy about how Raw went this week. It's like, okay, well, how do they top it? How do they even pull off the same thing next week? So it's almost like it's good that it was as good as it was, but then it's like, okay, maybe the go home is not going to be as good, because like how do you top
I
that,
don't
or like
know
how do
how.
you make it more exciting only a week later, but I think that in general what they did needed to be done, especially for the certain matches, because people were feeling a little bit underwhelmed about, like, well, we're going to talk about everything specifically, but they were feeling a little bit underwhelmed about Becky and Rhea, and I felt like this week they kicked it into high gear. And I like that they did it this week, and there's still something they can do next week, because last year they were trying to rush that kind of stuff with
It was
Charlotte and Rhea.
working. Yeah.
I feel like the whole everything to do with The Rock and Cody and the bloodline, all of that needed to happen, because people were also disappointed with how SmackDown was, which I think, it depends on how you viewed it, but people were feeling a little bit underwhelmed with that as well. And this just, again, like, was it, I mean, insane. So,
It was absolutely insane.
yeah.
You saw my reaction here watching it. I waited. Little peek behind the curtain. I did take a little snooze during
Mm.
this. I passed out right before the Sami Zayn Bronson Reed. So then we had to go back, rewatch it today. Wow. All I'm gonna say is wow, because I really want to hold in my thoughts here. But like, holy shit. It was like it was I felt like I was legitimately watching not only a movie, but a cinematic, like a trilogy of some sorts. Like, I really felt like I was watching that because of how well they're portraying this.
And I was bummed because I don't have a way to watch Raw live right now. And
Yep.
so,
Peeps.
because I just can't stay away, I was spoiling the show for myself anyway. So, like,
See,
part of me was bummed because I was ruining it for myself, because that's just what I do. Like, I just can't stay offline. So I'm like,
you
no,
you are mad. You like pain. You like
I
pain.
guess it's because
I
I'm like, I
it's
want to know what's happening, like, I want to know what's happening. So I already saw, like, oh, something happened with The Rock and Cody, but I didn't know exactly what it was other than the images and stuff. And what
I
was
didn't catch
kind of
you.
nice though is, even though I knew a bunch of the segments were really good and people were like, oh my God, this Raw was really, really good, I actually sat there and watched every second of those segments, with Rhea and Becky and The Rock at the end, the Punk, Seth, Drew stuff. Like, I didn't just sit there and be like, oh, I already know what happens, because I do that with SmackDown. But I
Sometimes
feel
you
like
have
this
to.
show was good enough that you didn't need to feel like, oh gosh, okay, I can fast forward through this. Like, there really wasn't any
No, you
moment
couldn't.
like that. Yeah.
You really couldn't, because even as I'm trying to watch the second time and familiarize myself so that I can, talk about it here.
Hmm.
Um, even that little 3 minutes right after the commercial, like, you don't even want to miss that, because
Yeah.
I skipped a little bit of our Truth and Mrs. commentary,
Hmm.
which that was hilarious, and like, oh, I want to hear what he said again.
Hmm.
Like, it was that type of Raw where you legitimately could not fast forward through anything except the commercials.
Yeah, for sure.
Even the Candice LeRae,
Yeah.
yeah, it was short, and like it could have been like a bathroom break, but like still, it did a job and it wasn't just on the show to be on the show.
Yeah, well, it was continuing a story that they've been setting up for the past
Exactly.
few weeks.